Hello and welcome to Cigars and Spiritual. I'm your host, Reuben Ellis, and my twin brother, co-host,
Rob Ellis.
Listen, we're going to have a fantastic time today. I'm excited, Rob, about what we're going to talk about.
Yes, sir.
But we want to first let you know that, hey, you got to always like, comment, subscribe when you come to this podcast. You know, that'll help us out. It really will, right?
Yes, sir.
And so, and make sure you click on the notification bell. We got some merch for you. You're going to really, really like that merchandise that we have for you. So also, we have a conversation that we've been thinking about, Rob, for the last week or so, and this is going to be nice, right?
Yeah, bro.
But not only nice, it's going to be sobering because a lot of folks just don't want to face reality, right?
Real talk.
So remember, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Rob, you ready?
Yes, sir. Let's do this.
Hey, man, listen. You know, just a few days ago, man, you know, all my life I've had this little minor ear situation. It's called, wax buildup. I don't know if that's what you call it, but, all my life, I've had this issue with my ear, and, it builds up, right?
Yes.
You've had the same situation, right?
Yeah.
Where you get wax buildup. And, after a while, if you don't just do almost daily maintenance, it's going to build up
You'll be in the ER
all the time. you feel like it, right? When your ears get plugged up, right? And so I said, a few nights ago, it plugged up on me. I was like, and I knew that it was getting to that point, right? For a month, right? But I, kept procrastinating. So finally, I said that night, I ain't going another day further than this because I couldn't hear it all, basically, on that one side. You know what I'm saying? So I said, first thing in the morning, I'm going to call, and my doctor and set up an appointment. And, for certain, I, got myself together. Couldn't hear out of one ear on the other side. And so I decided I was going to go ahead and, call them about 7 o'clock in the morning. I called them. Yeah, Mr. Ellis, we got a time for you. How about real early in the morning, about like 7:30, somewhere around that time. It was 7:30 to be exact. I'll take it. Yeah. And so, man, I go there thinking that they were just going to basically do what they normally do, just wash it out and all that kind of stuff. Well, for whatever reason, they couldn't get it cleared out.
Really?
Yeah. And okay, so I'm thinking that's weird. I'm like, that's weird, but they couldn't do it. They tried. I mean, they really tried, but they couldn't.
It was wax, though.
Yeah, that's all it was. I can tell you that because the end of the story was it was wax.
Yeah.
But they tell me, no, Mr. Ellis, we're gonna have to, we can't. There's nothing we can do. I'm like, what? It's wax. I know this always been this way.
Right.
I'm sorry, Mr. Ellis. But what they did was it was probably taking them too long, and that time cost them money. Let's just face it, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's how I'm thinking, because I'm like, you can get this out, but it's taking a little longer, and you ain't got no time because you're waiting for somebody else. And you need to make your money. I get that, but not at my expense.
That's messed up.
So, long story short, Rob, so I decide I'm going to go ahead and he tells me, rather, he goes, I'm sorry, I'm going to send you to what do they call it? Ear, nose. They call it ear, nose, and throat specialist, right? Used to be eye, ear, nose, and throat. I don't know what happened there, but it seemed like they call it ear, nose, and throat, right, or whatever. So I'm like, what? You sending me to a specialist for this? I'm like, so now you want me to pay more money when all you got to do is just do your job? Now you want me to pay more money to see a specialist because I know what it is. I don't know what to do. What do you want me to do? He literally said, what do you want me to do?
That's crazy.
So I'm looking at him, I'm ready to wring his neck, but I'm like, no, you know what? At this time, I can't be hurting no doctors. And because too many people know me.
No, you got good doctors.
And no, I can't be hurting no doctor. Well, he wasn't my doctor. He was another doctor because he had to get me in one day.
Oh.
Yeah,
Wasn't your doctor?
No, not my primary, Anyways, no, I should have said that. But let's get to this point. But here's the point. Mm-hmm. Long story short, they couldn't do it. Referred me to I ended up saying, skip this. I'm not waiting for this person, these doctors to call me to set up an appointment.
Yeah.
To see something that this guy can't do.
Right.
I decided I go and get it out myself.
Right.
I did. syringe and all. I got it out myself. Okay, so it got me to thinking, Rob. It got me to thinking. Like, I'm not doing too bad medically, right? I mean, when it comes down to me being able to be able to take care of my, self physically, and then to have medical insurance and good medical insurance. Okay, good enough, right? I mean, I'm blessed in that regard. Okay, but I started thinking, what about those that they, first of all, don't even have the opportunity to see a quack doctor, if you will, or a doctor just ain't got time for me because, it's, I believe it was about money, because time is money.
It's always about money,
right? But never, human being be damned, right?
Right.
Money, the almighty dollar, or money, matter, call it what you want to call it, okay? This is serious.
Yeah.
Or mammon.
Just follow the money.
Right?
Follow the money.
And so, what about these folks that can't take care of themselves and medical? What? That's a foreign word to these a lot of folks. Or even if they if they do have medical, they don't have the money to go to see a doctor, to pay a deductible or anything else. That got me to thinking about that. What about who's responsible for this, or who is it? Is it us, or is it them, or is what's your thought? I'm serious. I've been thinking about that.
No, listen here. To not have medical insurance or the ability to be able to see a doctor for a problem, like in your case, it's an emergency situation.
Right.
Ears get messed up to mess up your balance and everything else.
Right.
Now, that's not nothing small, right?
Right.
It's big. But
Absolutely.
the people that they can't afford it or don't have health insurance,
right.
What do they do?
Right.
You know what? They do nothing. They end up suffering. It gets worse and worse.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? It's a bad situation.
Yep.
Healthcare is a big deal. And again, Rube, it's
huge.
Again, it affects black and brown. I know we always on this because that's an issue. These problems, lack of health care or substandard health care, or people that don't even have it at all, it affects the black and brown community more so than does anybody else.
Okay, let me ask you this question.
It's messed up.
And I agree. So when you start thinking about that, you said the black and brown. I agree, but I'm going to throw this in and see how we can maybe talk about this little piece, that a little wrinkle, if you will, that would add something to this. But really, so let me ask you this. So we talked about how, so whose fault is it? Right? I mean, is it at the feet of leaders in our communities, or is it at the feet of others that we are, pushing back against? I know, I believe, and I'm certain you do, because we've been, hey, we're vibing like that. We know.
Right.
I know, you know. But I just for conversation, man. Where does the blame lie? Or is it somewhere else? Because it doesn't have to be. It doesn't be one or the other.
No,
it could be others.
I think it's societal. I think it's societal.
Right.
Okay, and what we always say, follow the money.
Right.
Follow the money. There's big money, in pharma, big pharma. It's all about the money, right?
Right.
And so, if you don't have a decent job,
Right.
you don't get good insurance unless you're just poor.
Right.
If you're very poor, then you might get what is that? What kind of insurance they give you for
Medicaid
poor
or
people?
Medicare?
Is it Medicaid? I think it's Medicaid. Yeah, so Medicaid, they give you Medicaid, which is decent insurance. But you go to the emergency, like you did. You go to emergency, they see you have Medicaid. Guess what? You're gonna get basic stuff.
Right.
If you are employed by a good company that has great insurance, guess what? You're gonna get the best care.
Right.
They're gonna go to the but in your case,
Yeah.
you have great insurance and they still didn't follow you. But can you imagine the people that don't have it?
Spot on.
The people that don't have good insurance?
I mean, yeah, right. If you,
It's
I mean,
society.
look. I mean, so I, and I pushed back, and thankfully, this company, this hospital affiliate, okay, it's a hospital.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
main hospitals have subsidiaries and extensions, and so you know how that goes. So it's just one closer in my neighborhood.
Right.
So I went.
Oh, did you go? You went to like a emergency care?
No, it's not emergency care. You just basically you can get in.
Yeah.
Okay, if you call in that day, they will schedule you for that day.
But is that your doctor's office?
No, it's a network of one chain.
Really?
Okay, of hospital chains. Okay, if it's one, say if it's a university of whatever. Okay, and they're a hospital. Okay, but they have extensions.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all. I went to one of the extensions, but you can this particular, hospital or medical.
But it's not emergency. One of those emergency.
No, it's not emergency. You can't. No, otherwise, no. You pay for going to emergency, and that's another thing that that a lot of people do.
Yeah. No. When I said emergency, when I'm talking emergency, I'm talking about what is that?
ER?
Go to not the ER. One of those little
Urgent care.
Urgent care. Yeah. Was it urgent care? It wasn't urgent care.
You got to pay extra for urgent care too.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, it's not emergency extra, but it's urgent
care.
I believe. Now, at least most,
But you didn't go to urgent care.
Huh?
You didn't go to urgent care. You didn't go to urgent care. So urgent care that's an option.
I didn't go to urgent care. I didn't need to go to urgent care, but that's neither here nor there. Okay, whether urgent care or whatever, this medical care, okay, center, okay. This I went to get medical care, and my insurance provided that. And this place that has a doctor on the staff, that's what the doctor does. He is the one that finalized, or should said, hey, we can't do anything else.
Yeah.
Right? With your ear situation. Even though it was waxing there and the aide that was really doing the work, okay, was telling me that she could see it, okay?
Yeah, I got you.
And
basically like a nurse practitioner or something like that.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A PA.
And phones ringing and things.
But she couldn't do anything. So they wanted to send you to a specialist. I don't get that though. That's wild.
So I just bypassed all that, but I did push back, and I let them know. But I'm going to I got some good feedback from that place. Okay, and good for them.
Yeah.
I mean, too bad. Well, let's just say like it was an advocate for actually it's the patient.
Yeah.
Advocate.
Yeah.
That called me.
Yeah.
That they have, I guess, on staff or whatever. But I don't know how that works.
Yep.
But this person is kind of like a watchdog. And they go and work on my behalf. So I called that number because I asked them. I said, this is crazy. Called them. See, but who does what I would do?
Not a lot of people.
Not a lot of people.
Right.
And the reason why I do what I do is not just because.
Not for just
you. Okay, absolutely.
Right.
It's not just
you're an advocate.
And I mean, he was an advocate, okay? But I'm an advocate too.
Yeah.
Okay, for black folk, okay, brown folks, the marginalized, right? And so, but you mentioned the black and the brown.
Right.
But I said, but what about the other folk? The question I really wanted to get back to was, what about, because there are other people that are in poverty that are not black and brown. Okay, I mean, let's cut to the chase.
A whole lot.
I said before, white.
A whole lot.
There are a lot of white folk, okay.
More of them, actually,
okay.
to be honest with you. I mean, not more, but not more. But yeah.
Well, I mean, talking about per capita, okay, yeah.
Right.
right? I mean, it's more. It depends.
It's more
per capita. Yeah, okay, but that's neither here nor there. But my point is, how many
disproportionately it affects us. It's more of them because there's more white people in our country and in our communities. There are more white people, but it's disproportionately, you know what I'm saying, it disproportionately affects us more than it does that community.
Yeah.
Proportionally, it's out of whack.
Yeah. Yeah, it is disproportionate.
Yeah.
But I mean, I wanna stay on the point of this. But the person is poor, whether they're black or white. Okay? If you're poor, you're poor.
Right.
Right? So it is true that there are poor white people.
Yeah.
Okay? Period.
Yeah.
Whether it's more of them, whether it's per capita, us, or them.
Yeah.
More of them because there's more of them.
Yeah.
Okay? It doesn't really matter. White people are poor. Just like black people are poor, right?
Sure.
So what makes our story so unique then? That they can't come back to us and say, what about me? I mean, you talking about, you know, and
but they will say that.
And they will say that, right?
Yeah.
So I'm saying, what's the comeback, if you will?
That it disproportionately affects us more than it does you all.
Right.
I mean, you know, I mean, it affects it. It affects it. You know. Okay, so
right, I get it.
You know what I'm saying? It's more of them.
Right.
It's less of us. It's less black people in America than there are white people. Okay, see what I'm saying? But it affects us predominantly and disproportionately more than it does the white people. You see what I'm saying? I mean, it's just a fact. The bottom line is our community, our community in the urban community, people don't have the jobs with the health with good health insurance, or if we don't in our communities we don't have the advantages that's given to a business, small business people. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So in our community, we're just affected in a greater proportion than the white people are.
Yeah,
I know it might sound weird, but that's
your point is well taken. I mean, you're saying this. We're saying the same thing. I guess what I'm saying is, that's the pushback. So we're gonna say, but it's more of us. I'll say it like this.
Percentage-wise.
Even if it's more of us, them, less of them, whatever. See, here's the comeback for me. The comeback is clearly, but you said it's disproportionate, and it is. But not only is it disproportionate, but the things that we go through that are disproportionate are the things that we need to fixate on. Okay, because what happens is, a lot of times if we don't talk about what it is versus numbers.
So when you say what it is,
we already know the numbers are more of. Yeah. It's all of the data is there.
Yeah.
Okay, so
that affects us greater than it does.
It affects us bigger. Okay, yeah. But what are you talking about? See, it's kind of like, so the battle becomes the narrative of what we're talking about.
Poor health care.
Huh?
Poor health care.
Yeah, it's poor health care, but what does it look like?
I don't know if I know.
So what I'm saying is we've got to paint a picture to the world in this sense. Yeah. My baby died on the table, because of bad health care at this particular facility or hospital in this particular city or neighborhood. Then the next person, my brother got whatever by this particular police, bang, bang, but I owe back to medical, bang, bang, bang. When you start to let people know just through the sheer numbers of what it is, then people get it. But if we just sit there talking about, yeah, but white people say, but it's me, it's them over people in
we all deal with
West Virginia,
we all have it.
folks in the coal miners, districts. Okay, I get that, and guess what? If we do well, guess what, baby? You gonna do well.
Right.
I'm talking about the folks that cry, broke as white folks, right?
Right.
So both brothers, you actually should be on my side.
And it does affect them. It does.
Of course
affect
it does.
them in a big way.
Of course it does.
Right.
But they don't see it that way. So it's best that we get our stuff together, okay, so that we can then, in numbers, convince them to join the team that they should have joined on before we could ever mount a group of people to influence, to be a movement.
Healthcare.
So we need allies, but maybe it's them too, and actually it is them too.
It is them.
So that's my beat, but they're hurting and we're hurting, but medical, deficiency is a damn shame.
So is good health care a right, or is it a luxury, or is it a? You know what I'm saying? I think healthcare is a right. I think good healthcare is a right. I think everybody should have access to good healthcare.
100%.
Everyone in this country should have access to it.
Right.
But that's not the case. And it's disproportionately. So we suffer more.
So quality.
We suffer more.
So quality is a big thing.
Yeah. Quality is a big thing.
So I do think that this is a two-pronged thing. Like when you talk about medical care, I think we're talking quantity, as in number of doctors in these communities, number of facilities in these communities. Okay, in other words, access. Right? Okay, the people in this community have access, whether they drive or walk or bike or do somersaults all the way to the facility, right? Or to the clinic.
Right.
Okay, so those sheer numbers are vital. So we're talking numbers, but then we're also talking quality.
Right.
So quantity and quality is what I'm talking.
Right. So what? So
you can do both.
So what's the incentive? What's the incentive? I'm gonna tell you, it goes back to money. What's the incentive for a good doctor to provide good health care in the inner city to black and brown people? What's the incentive? Because the bottom line is that if the people don't have good insurance, then good doctors are not going to be in that community. They're going to go where they can get the money. So the money that
affects the quality.
Right. So the good doctors are going to be in the communities that have the good health care or health insurance.
Right. The
money. That have good health insurance.
Right.
Okay. And so why would you really want to? Why would you want to hang out in the city, in the urban communities where they only get a certain amount of money from Medicaid or Medicare?
No.
Whereas in the other communities, these people who are better off in the middle class to upper class have good insurance. Why would a doctor want to be in the urban city and getting a little bit of money versus going to another to the other communities where they can get more money?
No,
the good doctors aren't going to really do it.
No, you make a good point. And so with that thought, I hadn't thought about it, but at least to add to that quality and quantity piece that we're talking about, the good doctors that are good, that give quality, but another layer, and probably the most important layer, at least is as important, in that community, there should be black doctors. In that community, there should be brown doctors.
But those
that community, there should be people of color, if you will. Because again, I sometimes have a problem with that term, people of color.
If they would, if they could get the money.
Say what?
The good black doctors. I mean, what's the incentive? Again, what's the incentive of being in the urban community
that's easy.
where people are poor versus being in the community where people have the good insurance?
Well, see, that's easy.
It's
easy. It's easy. It's easy.
There's no incentive.
Well, it
for them
is.
to be there.
It is.
What?
It is. Because it's not about money. Okay?
For you?
No, whoa, not just for me. For all black folk, okay? So, if we can incentivize, okay, what it is by giving these doctors, okay, the opportunity to be in these communities, okay? In other words, the doctors need some type of compensation to be in this community, and the monies need to come to their hand in one way, shape, or form.
But they're not
well,
doing
that's my point. So it is easy.
I agree.
We were talking about dollars, but it's dollars that can be allocated so that the good black doctors first can be, and people of color and brown and people of color can be in these communities.
They want to, but they can't afford it.
So we need to incentivize it through these particular programs and initiatives to get them there.
I agree.
So
I agree.
So if we could do that, now a lot of folks say, "Well, do it then." Like, I mean, I've been doing it. You know what I'm just saying? But I am going to do it more, and you too.
Yeah, but you're not a doctor.
Well, I mean, community.
I get what you're saying.
Being in
that's what we're doing.
Right. Right.
And our incentive is more than money.
Not just you and I.
Yeah.
But I mean, there are a lot of people that are working in the community, and the incentive is that they're being a blessing and they're helping their community. And oh, by the way, I live in that community and or work in that community, and so therefore I have skin in the game. That should be incentive enough. Now, if we are not communicating that narrative, then it's a fault on us, not the people that are capable of doing it.
No, I do agree. I'm just saying that doctors, good black doctors,
Right.
black and brown doctors, good doctors, whether even white doctors,
Right.
good white doctors, black doctors, they want to be in the community. They want to help the community, but they can't afford it. They can't afford to put what I'm saying, where their counterparts are making all this other money. You see what I'm saying? By being in these other communities and making those, and then I mean, it's like it's a tough decision. Yeah, I want to help my people, but I'm only getting pennies for providing the care for them.
But I just said it.
Right.
So are we in agreement?
Yeah, we're agreeing. I think we're agreeing. I just think so. How do you incentivize?
No, well, I mean, there's programs. There's way to, even through the government, if they're gonna support the police, okay, then my goodness, you certainly should be supporting the community. Yeah. I know police work in the community, but there is a divide, or there's a tension going on, but there's only one entity getting all the money. Right? So I'm saying, my goodness, I mean, I wonder if this one should be getting anything. Right? But if you can give the community leaders and the community at large, the people that live in the community, okay, funding, government, okay, then we can now begin to equalize, okay, the balance, okay, things, and make things equitable, right? Or make things more equal,
right?
Okay, and that's the battle.
It is a battle. So it comes down to the dollar. So it's, for instance, let's just put it like this. For instance, I could go to a doctor, and if I have just Medicaid,
right,
the Medicaid is only going to pay so much money. Right. This person has Medicaid. That's their insurance and Medicaid. Medicaid's only going to pay. This is, say, hypothetically. You go there, have a code or something like that. You go there. Medicaid's going to pay 50%, say 60%.
Right.
Okay? Now that person, the poor person, nothing's coming out of their pocket. But the Medicaid is only going to pay $60. You see what I'm saying? For $100 fee, for a particular procedure.
Right.
So the doctor has to be willing to say, in that community, has to be willing to say, I'm only going to accept, I can only get 60%. Now, in another community where other people have greater insurance, not Medicaid, good insurance, now that insurance is going to pay 80% for that same procedure. Now, I mean, the numbers.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So if I'm a doctor, I have to make the decision. Do I work in the community with my people and get 30% less, 40% less than my counterparts in another community? It's just numbers. It's just numbers. So, to your point, I think we need to get to a place where I believe, now a lot of people disagree, I believe the government need to incentivize these people who are in these communities, pay them more. Yeah. Medicaid should pay more to these doctors, which means, you know what I'm saying, at least make it comparable to some degree, right, where these people are saying, right, the incentive is that I want to be in my community. So even if I'm getting a little bit less, right, at least it's competitive.
I mean,
the way, you know what I'm saying?
Like, so
I hope that makes sense.
Well, some of it does. Some of it makes sense.
Because I deal with that.
Some of it to me is more of a.
Because my wife does this for a living. She does this.
I mean,
this is what she does for a living. So she sees these people coming into the offices, and she sees where they're making the doctors making $60 on a $100 process. On a $100 procedure, versus where they could get 80-85% in another community where the people have better insurance. Medicaid's only going to pay 60 on 100, whereas another community they get 85 on 100.
I get that, but I mean,
so she sees it all the time.
She sees it all the time. Did she see it from every group, or does she see it from just one group?
She's from everyone.
I mean, does she see the insurance for people that are dirt poor?
She sees from all.
She sees it. She sees the billing is through agencies of the impoverished.
She sees them both.
But to what degree? She sees every. All right. So
every facet.
Okay. So I can just about bet you. Okay. That she's seeing probably the people that are doing pretty good. Okay, with insurance. That has insurance. I can just about bet you. Okay.
I think she sees both, but yeah.
Well, I mean,
maybe more so. You might be right.
Does she work in the city?
Okay. No.
All right. That's all I'm saying.
No.
It's the people that go to the hospital that are the ones that are those people that she work in the suburbs. Mm-hmm. Okay, so people there, okay,
people in the city,
got good jobs.
But there are people. There are people in the.
That's why I asked you. That's why I asked you about the numbers.
You know what I'm saying?
I said, how many people are in poverty there?
What I'm saying, there are people from the city that still goes to the offices where, to those offices in the suburbs too. They're from the city, but they also go. So she sees.
I get that. That's why I asked you. Then okay, but what's the numbers? Because half of the people can't be coming from the city to the suburbs. No.
So
that's why I said the number. You could have told me if you could have said maybe.
No, not a lot. Not a lot.
Right. So if it's not a lot, then guess what? Those people got good insurance.
Yeah, most of them.
That's my point.
Yeah, most of them.
So if the people are in Detroit, if she saw ones in Detroit, okay, maybe she have a different disposition. I don't know. But what I am saying is, because she's doing she's doing a great. She does her thing.
There's poor and rich people in Detroit. See what I'm saying? There's poor and rich people in Detroit. It's the poor people that suffer in Detroit, in the city. It's not the city. It's the poor in the city. So
I was talking about the poor.
Yeah, right.
I said the poor.
Right.
I wasn't talking about people that got means, but poor people, poverty.
Yeah, it's more so. Yeah. In the inner city, you're gonna In the inner city, you're gonna have more poor than you do.
So we can't. I wouldn't even like those people got it good. Mm-hmm. So your wife sees some good people that got it good when it comes down to insurance. And I'm talking about good as when it comes down to the quality of life, because I have no idea. But I can tell you one thing. Well, yeah, let me rephrase that. I'm sure the quality of life is better, right? Everything that life can bring is better okay, more than likely, just because of the people that are going to that hospital, okay, or the people that are being built from these facilities or
I
hospitals.
agree.